Hey guys, Culver here. Welcome to another Raid Challenges video. So I've been playing around with Thea, the Tomb Angel, and with a few of the other champions that I do have on this account. And I wanted to make a video, not just a showcase of her, but just maybe try out some synergies that she can possibly have and make use of her until maybe the next time a new champion pops up that does have a Hex ability that can benefit Thea the Tomb Angel. So if you guys didn't see my showcase or don't know what Thea does, very basic. She does apply a unresistible Hex on her A1, and what the Hex does, her A1 is her basic. When I say A1, I mean the basic. So what the Hex does is basically it boosts up her A2, her second ability, Hex Reaper, which basically does way more damage depending on the amount of hexes which are on the enemy. So attacks all enemies, damage increased by 50% for each hex debuff on the enemy team, stacks up to 300%. So for every hex, it goes up by 50%. So if you do 100, it goes to 150. If you have 2 hexes on, it goes to 200, and so on and so forth until the maximum boost possible. And then after that, it removes the hexes from the enemy. So I wanted to test that, and which champion would help me test that? Of course, it would need me to either go first, use A1 on Thea on manual, and then just go with some kind of other champion which applies a debuff spread, and then go with Thea, or use something else. So what I was thinking is using Vizier. Vizier has he's one of the few champions that do have the debuff spread ability. So what this does is basically it takes 2 random debuffs from the target and places them on all enemies. And I want to take that Hex, apply it on everyone, and then do the big nuke with Thea. So my Thea currently has 71,000 power. She does have a good amount of stats, so 5,000 attack, almost 100% crit, but that doesn't matter because of the champion that I'll use. Critical damage at 245% with 3 cruel sets, which do give me 15% defense ignore, plus Helm Smasher. If I proc that, then I get some bigger numbers. So let's go over and test it out on the first dungeon, which I thought, okay, I can use it there. That dungeon has so many enemies against me where I can actually just test out the damage. But the problem with this dungeon is that we're going to be weak affinity with both Vizier and her. So I just wanted to test that synergy and how that will work. So let me just put everybody in there. So I would have at least Vizier there and Thea. Then I also want to have Gerbtug there for that additional boost of damage. He applies a poison on my own team, and that poison basically gives me 7.5% damage increase, damage boost. For each poison I have, I'll have at least 3 poisons on myself. So that's a ton of boosting, plus some damage from masteries. And then I want to use Parakin the Fat. So basically what Parakin the Fat will be doing is just doing an AoE, all allies attack on the enemies. I want him to go first so that he can go, force Thea to use her A1 on the big spider, and then once Vizier takes his turn, then he will extend the duration, not extend the duration, extend all the hexes to all the spiderlings, and then watch Thea use her big nuke, and then possibly see all the small spiderlings die. So I want to see how that works, and if it's like a cool comp that I can use for the clan boss. But who knows? Okay, so this is the team. This is the idea behind it. I do have the defense down, weaken. I do have the all ally attack, extra damage from this one. Vizier is going to be the extender, and Thea is going to be the big nuker. Of course, this is not a good team to farm Spider. It's not going to be a team to farm Spider. Vizier and Thea are always going to give you those weak hits, which are going to mess up your win ratio, and you don't want to have a less than 100% win ratio. So if I leave this on auto, they'll just go, but I'll put this through manual first. So let's do that all ally attack on that big spider. We go in there with Vizier, and you see that Hex already. So that's what I want. I wanted that Hex basically. And then Vizier here needs to go with his A3 and apply the debuff spread on everyone. So let's go. So look at this. We have a debuff spread of Hex on every target. So Thea now has, not in theory, has the full benefit of the big damage. So let's do that AoE defense down and weaken. And then we'll apply the poisons on Thea so she gets that benefit. 3 poisons, 7.5% boost for each poison, plus her masteries. And then we'll do that A2. So on auto, she would have done her A3. So she will just get an extra turn. That's fine. And then let's put this on 1x speed and see what kind of damage we can do. Remember, we can also do weak hits. So I would have loved if this was if this skill had a no weak hit, you know, text in there, I would just love this for this kind of situation. So let me test this out. So some big numbers, over 300,000 damage there, but we didn't even kill all the spiralings. Probably these two were weak hits, and that's why we didn't kill them. So obviously this is not a farming the big spider dungeon. I mean, you can't do the spreads all the time. You don't have her A2 all the time. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, but it's nice to test it out and see what kind of future potential you can use with Thea'S. So guys, I'm back. I did book Vizier and I wanted to get his cooldown to 4 turns. And the reason is just to work with Renegade. So the things I do for this video is leave a like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. I'll be using Lydia just because her A1 doesn't put 2 poisons possibly, and that's gonna mess up my all-ally attack plan. So the plan is, again, debuff spread, get cooldowns reduced by Renegade, and do that again on wave 2. So let me see how that goes. Defense down weaken. Let me see, did we debuff spread there? Okay, we passed through wave 1. So here, we're gonna need... Okay, there's a cooldown reduction. There we go. Are we gonna have a debuff spread possible here? No. Did he use the debuff spread? Yeah, he tried to, but we didn't get it on every single target. Then let's see how this does. A2, we basically destroy that wave with 300,000 attacks. And we reach the boss on a 40-second run. And here is just all about getting those poisons on the boss, and that's it. So Firekin helps with poisons, and Vizier helps with the extending the duration of the poisons. I mean, this is an overkill for Dragon 20. You can beat it with way easier stuff, but I just wanted to see I just wanted to see what Thea could do with the proper setup and everything. So come on, get some poisons going. We have no poison. This is gonna go for way longer than it should. We have every kind of debuff except the poison. We've got a defense down, a weaken, a hex, what's it called, a heal reduction. We've got a block buffs. We've got an attack down. We've got a poison sensitivity, but we don't have a poison. Well, or an HP burn. So we also need that. So this is where the run goes for a bit longer, just because of Thea not having, you know, an even shorter cooldown. So there's the one poison we needed. Give me that big A2. Come on. She's doing A1. She does about 15,000 damage. Not that great. There's the cooldown reduction. 97,000 from her A2. So, well, yeah, this run is gonna finish way slower than it should. Next we should try it maybe on Fire Knight. We should try it maybe on Fire Knight and see how that does. Because of the all-ally attack, it should be a fun way to beat it. But the idea is there, okay? The build is there. So, okay, 2 minutes is not a quick run. It's not an end game run for sure. Let's go over to the Fire Knight, guys, and test it out. Same kind of team. We're not gonna have a weak hits here, so I'm happy about that. I didn't want to test Ice Golem because we're gonna be Spirit against the Force champions that I have. There's that Hex. Come on, debuff spread the Hex. No. The bad thing about that debuff spread is that it takes 2 buffs, 2 random buffs, debuffs, and spreads those, so it's not 2 guaranteed debuffs. Maybe we'll have a champion that does a debuff spread for Hex specifically. If there's a Hex, he's gonna debuff spread it on a basic or something. Then we can use an all-out attack champion plus that, plus Thea, and make things fun. So here we did a debuff spread on that. We didn't have the all-out attack going. So obviously our damage is going to be way lower. And yeah, Renegade dies. There's no way to revive or anything. Come on, Thea, do your A2. Where's your A2? I want to see that big A2. Come on. She did A1 again, so she does good damage on that A1. But yeah, the whole thing is about her using that A2. So I think if her A1 also reduced the A2 cooldown, it would have been something good. So she's not using A2, possibly because no hexes. There's the A2, 77,000. There's a True Fear. And there's the Olale attack. And, well, the boss run is going to take way longer than it should. So I think the idea is there. It's great using these champions. So an Olale attack champion, Thea, and something that does a debuff spread. The bad thing is that the debuff spread is so limited in this game currently that Vizier is your best bet. We do have Xavia as well, but I don't have Xavia on my account. So Vizier was the only route to go. I do have 2 Viziers, so maybe I could have used that, but that would have been an overkill in trying to make a champion work. So definitely a fun way to test things out when you do have all these champions. And that's what I was telling Plarium before, is we need a test server, at least for content creators, so we can make these fun videos without having to just rely on getting lucky on champion pools and then just doing things with our own gear. So we've had a test account. I could have used whatever champions with the best gear possible and do some fun stuff for you guys. So if you do want to see that, leave it down in the comments and maybe we can share that to Claire and say, look, that's what the community wants. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.